Go to the Boss Firearms Hotline. The guy who keeps it real every week is Jordan Pugh. And one of my favorite things about an Aggie game day is he'll text me during the show or during the game, and he'll make me feel smarter about myself because I see things I just can't present it the way he does. I'm like, God, I feel like this team isn't doing this or this. And then he'll send me a coach's perspective and a player's perspective, and he breaks it down. So he's here on the Boss Firearms Hotline. Mr. Pugh, hello.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I mean, honestly,
yeah.
I think I'm doing better than I normally am after a loss. I don't know why, because I for some reason I sometimes like make it about me, and I feel like I failed the world when our football team loses. I'm actually handling it better than usual because it wasn't an elimination game. They can still do big things, but they got a lot to figure out, Jordan.
Yeah. I thought we were horrendous overall as a team. Look, I think offensively, our offense didn't play bad. We just didn't make plays when we needed the plays to be made. Defensively, that was the worst game we played all year. I thought defensively tackling was flat out horrendous. We had so many opportunities to get off the field, especially on the first drive. You had momentum swings within the game where you had plays that were extended by Lenore Sellers. We just didn't tackle well overall. I haven't seen us play like that all year long. Then, from a schematic standpoint, I thought that we were out-coached and out-schemed defensively. With South Carolina living in those condensed formation sets, they were killing us on the edge because we were out leveraged. We didn't have a man to play contain. We were getting pinned and pulled all night in the run game, in the QB run game, in the pass sets. I just thought defensively overall, our scheme was not conducive for us to win. And I think they took full advantage of that. We all knew about the talent. We all knew that this could be a possible game where it could end up like it did. We knew about the talent they had on defense. But I think overall, from a defensive standpoint, I think that's what hurt us, and we couldn't overcome the momentum swings that they had. I'm not disappointed because we are still in it. I'm not disappointed because we still control our own destiny. I'm disappointed that we didn't make the adjustments. We normally make the adjustments. Elko normally makes those adjustments on defense, and for whatever reason, we just couldn't get out of our own way. So, man, there's a whole lot to be encouraged about. I still think that we're on the right track. Marcel is the right guy. I think this game confirmed that he's the right guy for me. There was a lot of situations where he kept the drives alive with his feet. And they were dynamic. But I think when it came to situational play calling, when it came to those fourth down conversions, I think I texted you 5 times maybe. I'm like, why do we keep running the same play on third down, trying to hit up in between the A gaps? It just didn't make sense. We didn't have a lot of options, and I don't think we used Marcel's skill set very well this weekend from that standpoint. So overall, man, a lot to work on, but there's nothing to be discouraged about. We control what we can control, and we still have a path to Atlanta.
So I'm glad you brought up Marcel, because I've been saying, I was going back and forth with people that, look, I don't like the turnovers. Who does, right? And yes, the offense was not good in the second half. Those are all true. They did not lose this game because of Marcel Reed. In fact, I think they stayed in this game because Marcel was actually moving the ball in the second quarter, which made it a game. You scored 20 points, and you're like, okay, I'm not saying they have to double in the second half, but it just felt like he was doing things right. But losing Le'Veon Moss hurt this team in that game, their identity, and they're going to have to figure out how to get the most of what they have left.
I think that was part of the problem that we had when we lost Moss early in the game. I don't think that we made an adjustment as far as offensively with Marcel and his skill set with his feet. Look, with Amari Daniels, with E.J. Smith, we're fine at the running back position. Now, the depth is kind of the thing that hurts us a little bit, and it does hurt losing Moss, but I think that we still have everything that we need from that standpoint in that room where we can be effective like we want to. Now it comes back to, okay, how do we implement Marcel and how do we implement his game when it comes to using his feet? And I think that we didn't make that adjustment in that game. I know we didn't go in at halftime and make that adjustment, being able to use his feet to effectively stifle the South Carolina defense. I just think that overall, man, it was one of those games that was just a stinker. It was one of those games that you have those throughout the season. But I love the way this team is built. When we went down, was it 14-0? The way that we fought back, the way that we came back and we took the lead. I put a tweet out, I said, man, keep the faith, Aggies. We've been here before. And it's a situation where you look from the Notre Dame game, you look at the Bowling Green game, you look at the LSU game. This team is built to fight back. The only thing that happened, man, was it was a momentum swing, but it was a domino effect in that second half. And we just couldn't find our way out this week. this week. That's the key term. So, man, I think we'll be fine. But now utilizing Marcel more, understanding like he is our guy moving forward, I think the offense opens up more with his feet. And then, like we always talk about, it opens up more in the passing game as well.
All right, I'm going to point out two instances that early in the game, early, that I think didn't determine the game, but it could have. Okay?
Yep.
The first one was on the third play of the game, the Scooby Williams almost sack.
Yes.
Second play of the game. All right, that should have put them at a 3rd and 16, 3rd and 17. If you make that sack, they're punting. And I know there's a lot of they kicked your butt in the second half. So I understand that one play cannot have the trickle-down effect but I do think you start off the game with a different type of momentum. That's one.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the two dumb penalties at the end of the half to give them the field goal to tie the game, to take away the momentum. Just talk about those two moments and how they can have bigger effects later.
Well, that's where I was going. I was going with the penalties going into halftime. But the one with Scooby Williams, to talk about that, I think, that's the first drive of the game, wasn't it, right?
Yep.
First drive? Yeah. When you do that, man, all of a sudden you start taking the crowd out of it a little bit. That was big. That's a big kind of momentum swing where you start getting things going and you allowed South Carolina to stay in rhythm. Okay. Now, when we go into the second half, man, you had the opportunity to roll in there with the lead, right? And then when you get the stupid penalties that gives them more life, those are the type of things, man, where I think it swings and it allows teams to continue to be in the fight. That's the one thing where I think that hurt us. Here's what I think that the penalties that Turner got in those games, it wasn't the fact that he got the penalties. It was the timing and it was the situations that he got him in, keeping South Carolina alive when we had the opportunity to steal the momentum away. And, man, it was one of those things that we talked about last week. When you're looking at it, man, you're coming off a high win. You're going into a hostile environment. It's where the players have to take over at this point. And I think that's one of the things where they learn from this, but they also got to understand, man, in order to go from good to great, you got to be able to take the moments away. And the one thing that we didn't do in this game is we didn't take the moment away from South Carolina. It gave them life. They're at home. They're on the road, nighttime game, primetime game. But, man, those penalties are huge, and they play bigger factors than what people think, than what people know, especially when you're in a situation to be able to take control of the game.
How do bad habits happen during the season? And, I mean, I understand the how, but, like, a defense. I saw it in the LSU game really a lot in the first half where the tackling was like, wait, to me, it looked like arm tackling. Maybe that's not the right way you saw it, but how does that happen when you are an elite defense? Is it just you get, I don't know, what is it? You coach, like how does this happen sometimes?
Well, the biggest thing sometimes, man, it's just you have an off night, but I think it's a lack of focus. Defense is about 1-2. At the end of the day, man, my job is to get you on the ground. It's a very simple concept. If the ball is over there, I need to run as fast as I can, and I need to try to knock the crap out of you in order to get you to the ground, in order to get that ball away from you. When you look at what our defense did, we had opportunities to get them on the ground like everybody saw, but to me, it was a situation where we just didn't do what we were trained to do, right? For whatever reason, this 1 week, I saw a team that looked like they were untrained. I saw a team that looked like they were undisciplined. And what I mean by undisciplined is not that it's the penalties. It was the fact that the normal things that